Hi everyone, Ian here from Crack Maths and welcome to tutorial 79 on factors and multiples. In this tutorial we are going to be looking at answering questions like these 4 questions here. So if you want to take a quick read of these and decide if that is something that you're happy with or something that you need more work on, you can do that now. And if you are happy with these topics, remember you can tick this off and go over to Crack Maths to find the next topic. Or if you want more work on these, stay with me now and I'm going to explain just exactly what these things mean. Okay, so first of all, let's talk about factors. We talked about factors a little bit in the last video when we looked at prime numbers, but factors are what we refer to as the two numbers that make a number. So for example, if I had 2 times 3 equals 6, I could call 2 and 3 the factors of 6. Well, I could say 2 and 3 are factors of 6 because actually the truth is 6 has more factors than just 2 and 3. In fact, the number of factors 6 has is all of the pairs of whole numbers, known as integers, that we can multiply together to make 6. So we've got 2 and 3 and we've got 1 times 6. So if I was asked the factors of 6, the factors of 6 would be 1, 2, 3, and 6, because these are all the numbers that you can multiply something else by in order to get 6. Let's look at another example. What are the factors of 12? So here we go. Let's think. We could have 1 times 12, because we always have that. We can have 2 times 6. Then we can have 3 times 4. Now, if we notice here, the numbers have been used up because 3 and 4 are right next to each other. So if I went to these numbers now, I would just start repeating. So I could say 4 times 3, but I've already got these, so I don't need to do that. I could say 6 times 2, but I've already got that, so I don't need that. And I could say 12 times 1, but I don't need to do that because they are already there. So these 6 numbers are the factors of 12. So I can write them down in a list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Okay, let's do one more number and then we'll move on. Let's try finding out the factors of 15. So 15, we have 1 times 15. We don't have 2 times anything, but then we've got 3 times 5. We don't have 4 times anything, and then we're back up to 5. So if we were continuing, we'd then have 5 times 3, and then we'd have 15 times 1. But again, we don't need to repeat the factors. So once we've got to a number where the next number is higher than the number that we've covered, we can stop. So what I'm going to do is I'll get rid of those, and I'm just going to list these factors here, and the factors are 1, 3, 5, and 15. Now what I want to do is move on to a thing called the highest common factor. So the highest common factor is when you've got 2 numbers, and you want to know what is the highest number that both of those things can be divided by. Let's take an example of 14 and 21. So here we're going to look for the highest common factor, which is what is the highest number we can divide both of these things by. Well, 14 can be written as 1 and 14, or we can do 2 times 7. 14 can't be divided by 3, can't be divided by 4, can't be divided by 5, can't be divided by 6, and then we're back at 7, and so therefore we've got them all. So the factors of 14 are 1, 2, 7, and 14. Let's look at 21. So 21, we can have 1 times 21. Then we can't have 2 times anything because it's an odd number, but we can have 3 times 7. We can't have 4 times anything because, again, actually, if it's an odd number, remember, odd numbers times even numbers always makes an even number. So this isn't going to have any even number factors. So 5 doesn't work either because that would go to 20. 7 we've got, and then we're back to where we are. So the factors of 21 are 1, 3, 7, and 21. So here we are. We've got these numbers here, the factors of 14. And what we've got here is we've got these numbers as the factors of 21. So what is the highest common factor? The highest common factor would be 7, because that is the highest factor in both groups. They've only actually ever got one other common factor, so the other common factor that they have is 1. everything's got 1 as a common factor, so we don't really ever shout about that. So here we go. The highest common factor for these two numbers is 7. Let's try one more, and then we'll look at an example of this in context. Let's this time say we're going to take 15 and we're going to take 25. Okay, so 15 is 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. So the factors for 15 are 1, 3, 5 and 15. For 25 we've got 1 times 25 and then we've got 5 times 5. So, oh, that was a 5. I just had 5s on the brain. Right, so what we've got here is the factors for 25 are 1, 5 and 25. And this is interesting actually, because 25, you might remember, is a square number because we've got it by doing 5 times 5. So square numbers always have an odd number of factors. Just something to think about. Right, so what is the common factor for these two? Well, the common factor that we've got 5 here and 5 here. So the highest common factor that they have two common factors, they've got 1 and 5, but the highest common factor that they have is 5. Let's do another question, but this time let's have a look about context. So highest common factor questions often come up in context, and they're usually about you arranging things into groups. You usually have two things and you need to combine them together into one group, but they want multiple groups. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say I had 15 pencils and 20 rubbers. I want to put these into bags which all have the same number of thing in each one. So if they have 2 pencils in each bag, they all need to have 2 pencils. If they had 4 rubbers in each bag, they all need to have 4 rubbers in each bag. So what I need to do here is, when you see something like this is a classic highest common factor question. So I've got 15 pencils and 20 rubbers, and I want to put into groups with same number of pencils in each bag and same number of rubbers. This doesn't mean that it needs to be the same number of pencils and the same number of rubbers in each bag. It means that each bag needs the same number of pencils and each bag needs the same number of rubbers. So let's have a look at this. So 15, we can put it into one group of 15, or 15 groups of 1, or we can have 3 groups of 5, or 5 groups of 3. 20, we can have one group of 20, or 20 groups of 1. We can have 2 groups of 10, or 10 groups of 2. We could have 4 groups of 5, or 5 groups of 4. Right, so the only number that appears in both of these lists, apart from obviously the 1, is this 5. So what that tells me is we are going to make 5 groups. We're going to distribute these rubbers into 5 groups here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, I'll put that 5th group up here. And in each of these groups, we're going to have 3 pencils in each one, and then we're going to have 4 rubbers. So the highest common factor tells us the number of groups. The thing multiplied by the highest common factor tells you the number of items that means that you've got in your bag. Let's have a look at one more of these. Okay, so here we are, we've got another question now, and this one says, place 24 triangles and 30 circles into as many groups as possible with the same number of circles and triangles across the groups. Right, so remember, we find out the number of groups by the highest common factor, and then whatever the number that we're times in the highest common factor is, tells us how many of that item is going to be in each group. So let's do the 24 triangles first. So we've got 24 here, which is 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, or 4 times 6. 30, what we get is we've got 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 5 times 6, and that's it. So the highest common factor we can see here, if we look amongst these numbers, the highest common factor appears to me to be the 6. So the 6 is the highest common factor. So that tells me the number of groups. So I've got 6 groups here. I'll just draw them roughly here. And what this number here, remember, tells me, this tells me I'm going to have 4 triangles in each group and 5 circles. So let's do that there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 circles. And now what we can do is we can count these up to see if they give us the 24 triangles and the 30 circles to check that our answer is correct. So let's see, we've got 4 triangles here. This 4 takes us up to 8. This 4 takes us up to 12. This 4 takes us up to 16. This 4 takes us up to 20. This 4 takes us up to 24. Great, so we've got all the triangles we need. Let's look at the circles. We've got 5 here. These 5 take us up to 10. These 5 take us to 15. These 5 take us to 20. These 5 take us to 25. And these 5 take us to 30. So we've also got all the circles we need. So therefore, we've answered the question. And then what we'd say at the end, in order to write down our answer, we could say 6 groups with 4 triangles and 5 circles in each. Okay, right. Let's move on to multiples. So here we go, we've now got multiples. Now multiples are simply the times table for any number that you're talking about. So if I'm looking for, say, the multiples of 7, that's going to be 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, and so on. Okay, we can continue forever. So I'm just going to stop at some point. Let's have a look at another. Let's go for this time the multiples of 5. The multiples of 5 are nice and easy, so let's do that. So we've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So the multiples are all of the numbers in that times table, including the number that we're talking about. So the first multiple of any number is itself, because that is itself multiplied by 1. Okay, so that is still technically a multiple of that number. Right, let's now look at this thing called lowest common multiples. So lowest common multiples is the first multiple that appears for 2 different numbers. So we're going to need 2 numbers here. So let's go for 2 and 3. And then what we need to do is we list the multiples of this number. So for 2, we're going to have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. For 3, we're going to have 3, 6, 9, 12. And then the lowest common multiple is the lowest number that appears in both of these lists. So I can see that that is going to be 6. Now, because I knew it's going to be 6, what I could have done is I actually could have just stopped here. Because really, if I'm honest, when I got up to 6, I knew that 6 was in both the 2 times table and the 3 times table. And the same here, I could have just written down these 2. But in order to explain it, I decided to write a few more. Let's have a go at the lowest common multiple for 2 different numbers. So here we go. This time I want to find out the lowest common multiple for 6 and 10. So first of all, I'm going to start going up in 6s until I get to something that I think will be in the 10 times table. So we've got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. And A up, we've got something here. But let's just check with the 10 times table. So the 10 times table definitely does go 10, 20, 30. So here we go, we've got the lowest common multiple for both of these. And we'll quite commonly call this the LCM. Okay, so we'll say the LCM equals 30. Right, now let's have a look at these questions in context. So for lowest common multiples, the usual context is something like, when will we meet again? So it's either like buses, it's alarm clock rings, it's trains coming. It's all of these things. It's like 2 things are doing something. One thing does it every 5 times. Another thing does it every 6 times. When will they do the same thing again? Or something like that. So the classic example, as I said, is buses. So we could say that bus A visits a certain stop every 2 hours. Bus A visits a certain stop every 2 hours. Bus B visits the same stop every 5 hours. If they are both at the stop, how many hours till they meet again? So bus A visits a certain stop every 2 hours and bus B visits the same stop every 5 hours. If they are both at the stop, how many hours till they meet again? Okay, so what we're going to do is let's think about, we're starting at hour 0. So this is hour 0 here. This is A and this is B. So bus A is going to get there at 2 hours, at 4 hours, at 6 hours, at 8 hours, at 10 hours, at 12 hours. So these are all the hours that the bus is going to go there. It's going to arrive at the stop, it's going to go away, and it's going to come back 2 hours later. So if we're measuring it from hour 0, it will be there after 2 hours, it will be there after 4 hours, it will be there after 6 hours, after 8 hours, after 10 hours, after 12 hours. Now, the other one, we've got bus B visits the same stop every 5 hours. So we've got hour 0, and then it will be back there at 5 hours, and then it will be back there in 10 hours. So if they are both at the stop, how many hours till they meet again? Well, that means it's going to be 10 hours until they're both at that stop again. So they'll meet at that stop every 10 hours, which is the lowest common multiple between 5 and 10. Let's move on to look at the examples. So example question 1 says, find the highest common factor of 35 and 30. So let's look at 35 first. So we've got 1 times 35, we've got 2 times, no, we don't have 2 times anything. We don't have 3 times anything, we don't have 4 times anything. We've got 5 times 7, and then that's it. So we've only got 4 factors here. We've got 1, 5, 7, and 35. Now let's look at 30. We have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. Loads more factors. Okay, so let's write those all down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, 15, 30. Right, so now what I can do is I can look for the factors that are common to both lists. So I can see that we've got 1 and 5 in both lists. So we've got 1 here and 5 there. And that's actually it. So out of the 1s and the 5s, the highest common factor is going to be the 5. So like where I said LCM, we've got our acronym here, HCF. So I can just say HCF equals 5. And the examiner will know what you mean because they'll be tuned into the acronym HCF. Let's have a look at example 2. So here we go. Example 2 says, find the lowest common multiple of 5 and 4. So we just need to start writing out our times tables until we get to a value that satisfies both. So here we go. Let's see the 5s. We've got 5, 10, 15, 20. Right, I'm going to stop there because I know 20 is in the 4 times table. But let's just check I haven't missed anything. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Nope, it definitely appears that 20 is the first number in both the 5 times table and the 4 times table. So our lowest common multiple is going to equal 20. Okay, let's move on to example 3. So here we go. Example 3 says, a farmer has 12 cows and 18 sheep. He wants to make as many identical groups of cows and sheep as possible. How many animals will be in each group? So remember, it's the highest common factor that tells us the number of groups, and it's the number that we multiply by the highest common factor that tells us how many of each animal that will be. So let's do 12 into highest common factors first. So we've got 1 and 12, we've got 2 and 3, no, we've got 2 and 6, we've got 3 and 4. For 18, we've got 1 and 18, we've got 2 and 9, we've got 3 and 6, and that's that. So the highest common factor in both of these groups is the 6. So that tells us that we can get 6 groups that are all going to be identical. And in each group, there's going to be 2 cows and 3 sheep. And let's think about that. We can count these 6 groups. So we've got 2 cows in each of those. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep, that makes the 12 cows. And we've got 3 sheep in each of the 6 groups. So that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So that tells us what we've got. We've got 6 groups with 2 cows and 3 sheep in each one. Okay, let's have a look at example 4. So example 4 says, 2 alarms ring every 8 minutes and every 12 minutes. How many times will they ring before they ring again together? So right, what's that going to mean? Is that's going to mean that we're going to have to do the lowest common multiple. So remember, if we think about hour 0 here, we're going to get a ring for the first one at 8 minutes past, at 16 minutes past, at 24 minutes past, at 32 minutes past. I'm going to stop there and do the 12s. So if the 12 rang here, we'd then get another ring at 12 minutes past, we'd get another ring at 24 minutes past, we'd get another ring at 36 minutes past, because that's every 12 minutes. But I didn't need to go up that high, because I can see we've got a common value here. So what we'll find is the two alarms, they'll ring first together at 0, and then they'll both ring again together 24 minutes later. And that's that. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I hope this was useful to you, and remember, there's loads more content available at Crack Maths for help towards your GCSE. This was topic 79, so good luck and thank you. Goodbye.